Hey everybody, welcome back. You are watching Philosophy with Kerry. Let's talk about astral projection. I have been personally doing it for around 5 years. What is it? A few basics about it and a few things that I know to share with you guys. I had been doing it unconsciously throughout my entire life, but around 5 years ago I started to delve into it and started to research on it and then try out my own methods and see what worked for me, basically. And once I'd figured out how to do it, I ended up seeing just huge amounts of things that is just unexplainable and unimaginable, and it can only enlighten you. It doesn't ever really do anything negative to anyone. What is it? It is the method of the individual consciousness leaving the body through the form of a projection, the essence of leaving your vessel while remaining aware. One of the oldest ways known to humankind of achieving inner peace. Who can astral project? Anybody who has a vessel to abandon. Anybody. So what is the best time to begin? So firstly, you already can do this without control from this life character. But the secret to knowing yourself as not only this life form, but your everlasting self is in knowing how to control it. Most people will only believe something until it's as real as day for experience. Once you have first astral projected, you will understand that a lot of the things that you deemed as dreams were not dreams, and not everything in your unconscious mind is a dream or of a dream reality. Sometimes they are more, much more. So with this knowledge, in answer to the question, what is the best time to astral project? The answer is basically as soon as possible, or as soon as you are comfortable with it and okay with moving on to this next chapter of your life. Anytime that you prolong doing it is only prolonging the discord you have with your soul and your whole entire being. Most importantly, you yourself will know when it's the right time to take the plunge into all of this, and you will know when you're ready for it. You'll know when it's time to fall down a rabbit hole. Also, it's important to note that there are some people who don't want to experience this in their life, and we shouldn't force that upon them, and you shouldn't feel pressured into doing this. If you don't feel like in this lifetime you don't want to experience this kind of stuff, then that is okay. Maybe in the next life you will be Gandhi. It's important to note that a lot of people do feel that it's the right time to do this when they are feeling their best self, feeling the most self-love for themselves that they can feel. As soon as you have done this one time, you will definitely be able to identify the other time. Reoccurring dreams can often, to me, signal, out-of-body experiences, but I think that on a deeper scope than that, they are more so past life experiences or things your soul just wants you to see again. Good ways to identify when you have astral projected are times where you had your senses, where you could smell things, you really felt things, really taking the environment with your consciousness as if you were physically there. Times visiting familiar places can often signal this as well. You can go to a homeland for your soul. For instance, I tended to often go and check on my Nana's house in England, and I know that sounds funny, but I had a deep connection with that house. I used to go there quite a lot as a kid. I would remember that place so vividly. A lot of your astral projections you can kind of research after you've had them, and you can look up certain things from them, and you'll kind of say, okay, well, this was real, and I don't know how I know this. I didn't know this information before. In a remote viewing sense, you may travel somewhere It will just be familiar. This place has some kind of bizarre connection with the things that you were seeing, and there's no way in hell you would have known this information. Even just pinpointing clothing and things that can help if you are seeing things in your subconscious that are taking you towards past life events, familiarizing yourself with what kind of native animals there are, even plants or anything that are around. Often you can research these things and you can normally find out where you are and what kind of timeline you're looking at. Often when I had past life visions during my projections, they would all begin with starting at a garden. I would always start at some kind of garden, and I find that in a lot of regressions that you do of hypnosis, they often tell you to go to a garden as well, which I find weirdly linked. And often there are gateways or portals in this, and some people have a spirit guide. You normally would not really edit it, your soul would not really want to do that, so you would more so just view it and yeah, just see what that has to show you. Another way to identify astral projection is that your soul will just know it. Everything just seems so real, and then you come back saying, oh, I could have sworn that wasn't a dream. So the remote viewing connection, in my past life regressions that I've seen, I've often, well, a couple of times, I've done some kind of remote viewing work for the society or whatever. Generally what it is when your consciousness leaves your body and travels afar to view something. When I was younger, I had this experience where I was staying at my nana's house and I woke up in the middle of the night, woke them all up, and I basically said my mum and dad are in trouble and they had been in this fight at a pub and I'd seen it all, and I was pretty aware there was like brick walls and just all of this stuff, and it was just so vivid. And I remember was telling my nana in such detail, and it was just so vivid. My nana told me to go back to bed and she was like, I don't know what you're talking about, Kerry. So not long after that, she received a phone call from my dad saying that pretty much what I'd said had happened. As I got older and I started researching more mysticism and psychic gifts and things like that, and then I learned about remote viewing, I just linked them and I was like, oh my gosh, I was doing that. Different type of astral projection, the silver cord. So many people have different theories on this, and I mean, to be honest, I've never looked back at my body and been like, that's me, don't know. While I was out of body once, I did see a very thin cord, and in my soul's knowledge, that to me was the connection to my physical form. Honestly, felt like I knew everything about it at the time, and I did not feel at all like it could break. I felt like that was the connection, and I was very safe from it. It was protecting me and connecting me, and it was just this unbreakable life force. And it's not a string, it can't just be snapped. It's a life force. Looking in the mirror, there is a lot of controversy about this. So basically people say that if you look in the mirror while you're out of body, you will see your true form. Now, I find this really interesting, and I haven't actually done this. Maybe I will, and maybe I'll do a video about it. Some people see a beast, and some people see a beauty, I guess. I think I have seen my true soul self when I'm out of body. I feel pretty conscious of like what I look like, kind of. But interesting. Colour in the astral. Now, if you're on this dimension, it's generally going to be pretty grayscale, I have learned. It's, if any of you have ever seen Insidious, it's kind of like walking around somewhere like that, but with less evil things, more random things, like things might be placed in weird places. The other dimensions, the colours are vibrant colours that are pretty amazing no matter what kind of dimension you are on, as long as it's not necessarily just the boring old first. Thank you for watching this episode. I will be continuing this as a guest type of mini-series type thing. I will probably do around 3 episodes on this.